joining in. Excellent. Feel free to keep posting in the chat box where you guys are tuning in from. We'll be getting started very soon. All right. Yeah, it's really nice seeing everyone's like backdrops too. I got my books and record players in the background. All right. I guess let's get started. All right, so welcome to Travel by Haiku, the online release party. You've made it. We're going on a journey together. We are ready to ride. I will be your driver tonight. My name is Marshall Deerfield, Marshall James Kavanaugh. I am excited to announce this new book that is released today. You can see it. Travel by Haiku, volumes 6 through 10, Far Out on the Road with Friends. It is quite a journey of a book. It also has been an adventure to create for this moment. It's basically a collection of haikus and travel fiction that was written back in 2015 and 2016 over a series of 3 different road trips with 5 other writers. And you'll find in this book that there's haikus that were collaboratively written by different writers. So you can see there's like long text and there's like short text. Basically how it worked is we had all these different clowns, artists, musicians, poets, creators of all kinds, all in one tiny car, which was my Toyota Yaris, zooming around the country, going line for line for each haiku. So haiku is a Japanese form of short poetry. It's 3 lines. When you have 3 people in the car, it's perfect. Each person takes a line. First guy writes the first line, passes it to the next person. They write the second line, passes it to the third person. You get third line, and you have a whole haiku. So the other collaborators on this collection are Augustus Depenbrock, Stephanie Beattie, Cameron Christopher Stuart, Shane Donnelly, and Tara Lynn Faith Williamson. They're based all over around the country right now, but we all met in the Philadelphia and Brooklyn, New York area. And it's fun sharing this new collection with you because these are people that I've journeyed with like over many different occasions, these being just a few of them. And it's, I don't know, it's just really exciting to be, I guess I've been in the driver's seat, but also the back seat of this wild ride of the book. As far as housekeeping, so we're doing Zoom. I would say just like everyone, feel free to use the chat. You can introduce yourselves in there. You can tell us where you're from, where you're tuning in from. But otherwise, just stay muted throughout the performances. If you'd like to, tell a poet that you think their performance was amazing, please go in the chat and just like type it up. There's a lot of performances tonight. There's dancers, there's musicians, there's other live poets, and I think we're all at a distance right now, but it'll be really nice for us to all just see each other's like comments and be like, I don't know, like, wow, someone really dug my stuff. You'll also be seeing people's like social media on there as well. Like I'm going to be telling the performers to just like post their socials, so definitely give them a follow if you can, if you dug their work. And then, I guess there will be some occasions where we'll invite you guys to unmute yourselves and maybe join in a collective howl. It's raining here in Philadelphia, so it's kind of hard to see the full moon right now, but we had a full moon a couple days ago, so still feeling that like high energy of the full moon's glow. But yeah, otherwise we'll all stay muted and we'll just enjoy the show. I think it's hard to describe the experience that you guys are about to partake in. I want to say it's well, I guess in curating this night of performances, I want to communicate and collectively experience the wild ride that is, experienced in going on the road. So you're going to see a lot of different types of performers that I've personally met while traveling around the country, or share a lot of journeys with myself, or share journeying spirit with elsewhere. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I guess my best advice is, you can find somewhere comfortable, sit back and enjoy this wild ride that we're about to partake in. You're welcome to stay tuned in and show your face. You're also welcome to just kind of turn the show off to the side and turn the volume up, listen to it like a podcast or a radio. I think it's gonna be fun. So, but don't feel that you have to be, 100% eye to eye with everything that's going on. I feel like right now we're in this cool new wave of technology where we're re-exploring, the old ways of radio and telling stories across the airwaves. But yeah, really excited to see all your pretty faces, and I see everyone waving back and forth. There's a lot of us here, so that's really cool. We have I don't think we could all fit in my tiny clown car to get on this journey together. I think we would have to get a whole school bus, or maybe a couple school buses, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna go. So yeah, to start us off, let's get going. I'm gonna be talking a lot tonight, but we have something that we can collectively share together. Some of you guys ordered some tea ahead of the show from the Random Tea Room, which is our co-host for the evening. So yeah, feel free to cheers your mug, hold it up in the air if you guys have brewed. The tea that's been put on brew tonight is called Heart Speak. I think I said hard speak, but it's Heart Speak. It's a very floral mixture of rose and hawthorn and let's see, fennel and so many other beautiful ingredients that our fine co-host Becky from the Random Tree Room put together for us. And let me just say, it is the intention here with each sip is to just connect across this distance and really fuse the heart into that upper beat of life. So if you have your glass already brewed, feel free to take sips throughout the evening. Also, if you didn't come prepared, that's okay. We'll find other ways to connect with you and share these sips and share this heart speak. But yeah, without further ado, our co-host, the Random Tea Room, has made a fun how-to tea video with Vern from the Vault, or Vault and Vine Cafe in East Falls. So this first video is about how to steep tea, and the second will tell you how to brew your tea. What's fun here is this will really get you into the science of tea. So let's check it out. I'm going to put it up real quick, and we're going to all watch what Becky and Corinne from the Random Tea Room have put together for us. Just one sec. All right.
Hello, and welcome to How to Tea. I'm Becky.
And I'm Corinne, and we're from the Random Tea Room in the Northern Liberties neighborhood of Philadelphia.
Vern, you inspired us to create some colorful learning tools to help simplify our journey.
Yes, check out these fun flashcards. Oh. Super colorful. They kind of match your fur, Vern. Aww. So let's start out with an easy but often overlooked step in the tea brewing, pre-warming your mug.
Ceramics absorb heat and will quickly reduce water temperature, which reduces the amount of tea essence released from your leaves. It's super easy to pre-warm. Just add about a 1/4 cup of boiling water to your mug and set it aside.
Let's learn how this deck works. So these cards are to help you in the tea brewing process. The type of tea is written across the bottom, and up in the right-hand corner you'll see a letter, a W, G, B, or H for white, green, black, or herbal. This is the style of the tea and guides you in choosing the appropriate water temperature for brewing.
In the lower right, the clock tells us how long to brew. Some cards have an R in the upper left corner. This lets us know that the leaf can be re-steeped.
Now that we know the time and temp details, what about the filter?
Well, my preferred method of brewing involves a brew basket. This allows the leaf to gently unfurl and once again release its essence. But there are other great options like compostable paper filters and filtered straws or bombillas. These are well known in South America for drinking yerba mate, but are also really great for herbals that don't oversteep.
What about the water? Isn't tea just some murky water with leaves in it?
That is a great question, Vern. So actually, the minerals and pH levels of water can cause tea to taste bright and crisp or dull and flat.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's this?
That is an old school tea timer. No buttons, beeps, or batteries here.
We use this tea timer to let us know when the tea has been steeped long enough.
White tea is delicate and less processed than green and black tea. Use a lower temperature for brewing to prevent scorching the leaves.
Wow, that's it. I think I'm ready to brew.
Cool. One. Welcome back to How to Tea with the Random Tea Room in Valtenvine. We just learned the basic steps to make the perfect cuppa, and now we're going to put that knowledge to use.
Yes, we are going to learn how to brew 3 teas that are on the Valtenvine menu. We're going to do the Belly Blend, Earl Grey, and the Sencha.
We've already got our mug warmed, so let's start with the minty ginger treat that is Belly Blend.
This is the caffeine-free herbal blend of peppermint, ginger, wild yam, chamomile, and licorice. Oh, don't forget fennel.
It's been designed to soothe the digestive system, though it's not recommended for those suffering from acid reflux. It relaxes the esophageal tubes that can make reflux worse.
There are several ways that this herbal blend can be steeped. If you were using a paper filter, you could just leave it in the cup because it can't be oversteeped.
Today, we'll be using a bombilla or filtered straw. Just add a tablespoon of leaf to your drinking vessel of choice, water that's been brewed just below boiling, and cover for 3 to 5 minutes.
Why? Why you cover it?
Well, that's to keep the aromatics in. It just tastes better that way. When it's ready, you just take the plate off, pop a filtered straw into the mug, and you're ready to start sipping as soon as it's cool enough to drink.
Earl Grey is a black tea that is scented with bergamot, a type of citrus, and dusted with blue cornflower petals.
We'll be making this to go. So we're going to use a paper cup that doesn't absorb the heat the same way as ceramics, so we don't need to pre-warm this one.
We'll also be using an unbleached compostable paper filter. Just add a teaspoon of your leaf to the bag. You can knot the bag and toss it in, or just hang it over the cup and hold it with your hand as you pour the just under boiling water on. Our final steep is a Japanese green tea, our house sencha. I'm going to use a brew basket because there's an R in the upper left corner, which lets me know that sencha re-steeps well. But a paper filter would also work. We can see that there is a water drop on the card, which suggests the use of spring water to achieve the desired umami roundness of flavor.
Mommy.
These leaves are less processed than the black leaves in Earl Grey, so we need to use a lower water temperature. If you have a variable temp kettle, you can adjust the dial to a slower setting, which is green on this one, which is about 170 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit.
If you don't have a very temp kettle, a simple trick to prevent scorching the leaves is to add cool water first, just under halfway, then top it off with boiling water.
Wait, hold on. So, thanks, Vern.
Yeah.
These brew baskets come with a lid which helps to retain heat. We're only going to steep the sencha for 2 minutes, so we'll use the tea timer to let us know when to take the basket out. See that?
And the sencha is ready. Pick up the lid, turn it over, put it on the counter, and then place the brew basket on the lid. It will keep the excess liquid from getting all over your countertop.
So convenient.
I mentioned earlier that we can re-steep these leaves. This style of leaf actually is designed to be steeped 3 times. When using the brew basket, it's easy to set this tea aside and come back to it later to steep again.
Senja.
Fern, I had so much fun brewing with you.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for joining us. The team here at the Random Tea Room and Vault and Vine are excited about your future tea brewing adventure. Good luck and keep brewing.
Bye.
All right. So that was the Random Tea Room. Thank you, Becky and Corinne for that, and Vern for that beautiful video about how we sip our tea and brew our tea and steep our tea. One more voice from the Random Tea Room that I'd love to invite to share their work is Jane Earth Poet. So she has a poem about tea that she's going to share with us. If you guys weren't already feeling that tea, here's Jane Earth Poet. She is walks in strong in sunshine when the woods are warm and green. Her poetry asks you to sit with her on a flat rock by the stream and listen to the earth speak. Here's Jane Earth Poet.
Thank you, Marshall.
Hey.
I am so thrilled to be a part of this night. And I just have one poem to share inspired by the spin cycle herbal blend from the Random Tea Room. Spin cycle. Hot water rushes to the cup, swirling its contents in a lively dance, awakening ginger's bright spice, lavender's long embrace, the hopeful dreams of Damiana. As they settle, motherwort whispers a mantra into the rising aromas. In this tea, there is a tribe, a coven, a communion with Earth's divine gifts, made manifest in roots and flowers. Each one offers their essence as evidence. There is a wisdom born in nature that visits us through insights, in stillness, when we are listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Yeah, thank you everyone from the tea room for giving us that sweet, herbal medicine that we have tonight to share in this room. In the past, I've always released books at the Random Tea Room, and it's physical location in Northern Liberties. You can go visit them anytime. Becky, please share the socials and website and where people can find you in the real time to get their tea on. But yeah, now that we've been, introduced to our host, the Random Tea Room, I wanted to get us grounded. So Travel by Haiku, which is this new book, is very centered, it centers its pages in the experiences found in the wilderness. Finding wilderness or a place to connect with the earth in the city can often be kind of, difficult. We're surrounded by concrete and we don't have many trees. But I guess I wanted to take a moment to connect us to a space here in Philadelphia where those connections can be found with the wilderness and with the, the earth itself. So yeah, I want to introduce the Cesar Andrew Iglesias Community Garden. The Iglesias Gardens aim to preserve a space for the people through providing multi-generational activities for our community, creating harmony and balance with local ecosystems, and growing edible fruits and vegetables and plant medicine. They pay tribute to stolen land and develop a network of support for our future generations. The work of the Iglesias Gardens builds and defends resilient communities. So yeah, I want to introduce Cesar Viveros and Willow Zeff to talk about the garden, the cultural art projects they've been working on, and the different community organizing initiatives that they are taking on in the 19122 neighborhood in Philadelphia. So yeah, Cesar and Willow, if you'd like to share with us what you guys have been working on.
Sure. Hi. I'm just going to do a short introduction Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, cool. And then Cesar's gonna come on and talk about the art and culture. So, so the Glacius Garden is located in North Philly, more specifically in West Kensington. It's on a little side street, so it's very easily overlooked. We've been in existence for about 9 years now, and finally, after a 4-year struggle with a city entity called the Land Bank, we've been approved the disposition of 12 parcels into our land trust. This is a huge win for us. Like I said, we started that struggle 4 years ago. And after 3 years of emails, phone calls, visiting the land bank office, visiting the office of our district council person, and mostly dead ends, we rallied a group of about 30 people to storm a land bank board meeting. That's what got their attention. That's what got our foot in the door. That was a year ago, this past March, right before the start of the pandemic. And since then, we've just been doing a lot of paperwork and all of that. That's sort of like the political struggle. And then there's always a lot going on at the garden itself. For folks who are interested, we're usually there on Saturdays. Folks who are local to Philly, we're there on Saturdays, and projects range from door knocking and outreach to just planting seeds and weeding. We try and do gatherings on the solstice and equinox. There's probably going to be a May Day gathering. And yeah, and that's sort of the intro. And then I'm going to let Cesar go ahead, talk about the work that you're doing.
Sure, thank you, Seth. Thank you for the invitation. For me, this is awesome to being able to talk about something that is very personal. I keep telling my friends that actually sometimes I call it a project, but that's more to have the reference itself. But really, for me, this is it's becoming a lifestyle. Like 9 years ago, I was walking my dog and I found the Philly Socialist here cleaning. It was the first stage where taking the lots, and then I offered myself if I could incorporate a piece of art. What happened on the next following year is that when I started doing art over there, people started coming and asking me if they could help, and all of a sudden, this absorbed like my life. I bring my kids here, I bring my dog here, and almost every weekend we spend some time here, and there are so many things going on. Everything changed with the season, but I wanted to say that the same way I found this space, and I consider it myself sacred. I'm sorry, sacred, because this is the space that a lot of people like me, we don't have this opportunity. My house, I have a little patio, it's all concrete, and most of the houses here where I live and the places around, people don't have a space where to grow. And we found this thanks to the Iglesias Garden, Philly Socialists. We are reclaiming this land, and this is all for us. We are finding something that is shaping our life as we move forward. As you can see, these images, this image right now, it was like a movie night. We presented this documentary. The documentary itself was about the people who was helping us to build sculptures. So the whole place is full of sculptures. Just recently, we started making a hole. I got the idea of just making a hole and create what we call a barbacoa pit, so we could put some food inside. But all of a sudden, because a lot of people came to help me, even James, who was there like digging very hard and taking the stones, and it was so much help that we just decided to make it bigger. We put some bricks, and then we put the stones around, and then we use it for ceremonies. And nevertheless, we have been able to cook different things, pork, and more recently the barbacoa with the borrego, the chivo. And around there, we are building this glyph that for the Aztecs, or I would say the Mexican immigrants, it means a lot. I keep explaining to my neighbors, everybody living around, that this is becoming so personal, and people my neighbors have to understand and realize that when they see like a group of large Mexican immigrants coming to this lot all over from South Philly and West Philly, it's because we don't really have a neighborhood. We don't have a place that we can call home. Everything is so like chaos. But when they come here, they find something that remind them of where they are coming from. And right there, like this woman with the little girl, they actually chopping in the middle of the day. It was very hot that day, and for 6 hours, they were digging really hard because we want to grow corn. So we are doing things that probably we never imagined we would be able to do again. And now we are reconnecting with the air, with the soil. It's good. It's healthy. It's a spiritual. The fact that we can connect with the earth again, and on this slide is this is what you see. This is Day of the Dead. We create this sculpture on the background that's just with the sole purpose have something new and exciting. People helped me to build it, and then the night was a huge night with Aztec dancer and people praying, and I was shocked because the one guy who was leading the Aztec dance, all of a sudden he didn't ask the people to do it, but everybody was following the way he moved, the way he was creating this enchantment with the procession and all these things that he was doing. People was just doing it, and I felt this connection. So for me, it's very meaningful that we reclaim in these spaces and we are putting our spirit on it.
Yeah, thank you, Cesar and Willow. If you guys can type in the chat where people can find more information about the garden, like any social media or links, that'd be awesome. Really appreciate what you guys are doing. For me, it's like I've found I mean, Philadelphia is my home, but I often go on the road, and I feel like the garden is what brings me back to that wildness when I get back to the city. So it's really a pleasure to have you guys here. Thank you so much for sharing what you do in the garden and taking us, to the earth, even though we're in this digital Zoom space right now. All right, so now that we are grounded and we have remembered why we are here and why we are journeying, which is, to celebrate the earth and celebrate the community that we find when we, connect with that earth. Let's get started. Let's get on the road. So yeah, I have, wonderful lineup for you guys tonight. We're going to start by introducing Travel by Haiku. So to do that, I figured the best way to do that would be to have Andrew Galati, who I'll save a full introduction for later. He's a musician based in Philadelphia, and he'll be playing a couple of his songs later tonight. But for now, he's going to read an excerpt from his introduction to this new collection. So Travel by Haiku, volumes 6 through 10, Far Out on the Road with Friends. Andrew was able to write the introduction for this book. And yeah, let's hear from him.
Hey everybody. Yeah, great to be here. Yeah, so I'm going to read part of the introduction, not the whole thing. So you'll still have to pick up the book to see that, the full, and of course, all the rest of the wild words in there. The road's a shapeshifter. We plunge through its bleeding landscapes like the western sun dripping into the sea. One day you're staring up the trunk of an 800-year-old Douglas fir. The next you're on a rain-drenched beach using a rock to unloose a saber tooth from the jaw of a dead seal, bloated and morose on the Oregon coast. Given enough time, the driver enters a trance. The motor guides him past each successive mile marker. His fellow passengers, too, become enlisted, and soon we are all reciting poetry. Joe Simeon up front with his outlaw guffaw, and me in the back between spasmodic snores. Deerfield's hands all the while fast on the wheel, his eyes taking in everything from the highway paint shooting past like lasers to the moon's steadfast glint. As the land marches by, so too a parade of characters. A farmer tracing ancestry through potatoes, a 10 times married man experimenting with pendulums, an Air Force veteran who built landing tarmacs in the deserts of Afghanistan grown lonely in civilian life, a San Francisco beach bum pirate in search of lost brothers, a German-Irish boozed-out poet moved to tears by a photograph. Each soul an ambassador of this strange world we inhabit, representing its joys, its sorrows, its dreams. And then us three, Deerfield, Simeon, and Bandolini, rushing into the nearest burger joint, our appetites eager for something other than blocks of cheese and granola bars, setting up camp in a corner with notebooks spread on greasy tabletops, garnering odd looks from other customers, no doubt, penning lines of verse between mouthfuls of chili, careful not to spill too much sauce in the margins, sitting quietly for long stretches like monks, recording sacred thoughts, then looking up in unison and exploding into laughter. But even our merry band of travelers was not immune to the never-tiring pulse of change. After our first night in Portland, we awoke to find the car top canvas bag we used for storing belongings had been punctured and deflated. A thief in the night had gutted the bag and absconded with Joe Simeon's luggage. Feeling a little low, he endeavored nevertheless to visit a thrift store that afternoon and replenish his wardrobe. But before he could, as if by fate's design, he received a phone call that same morning beckoning him home. His grandfather had taken ill and was possibly approaching his last days on this planet. Simeon was on a flight back east that evening, wearing his herringbone blazer. Sometime later, Deerfield and I drove to a campground in Crater Lake National Park. With Simeon gone, I'd graduated to the front passenger seat before we got to the campground. Before we got to the campground, though, we had to travel a winding mountain road densely thicketed that night by fog. We could hardly make out a few feet of the road ahead. There was only fog, and beyond that, nothing. It was as though the world had vanished and been replaced with fog. Certainly, the wide-eyed look on Deerfield's face suggested we had drifted into some liminal zone, a stranded place between time and space. The fog seemed to contain restless spirits. They clamored one over the other, only to dissipate into nothing. I stared more deeply into that roiling mass, but saw nothing but more fog buried within the fog. The road, the mountain, the night itself, all was swallowed and lost in the fog. It was impossible to imagine that somewhere out there past that impenetrable wall of vapors was a house in New Jersey where Simeon sat at his ailing grandfather's bedside, listening to his labored breath. And elsewhere in New Jersey, my own parents, growing older, grayer, full of troubles. No, such thoughts were very far from our minds. It was only us, the car, the fog. And just beyond the edge of the road was an all too real drop down a sheer cliff face. We focused our efforts on the road ahead so as not to be tricked by the spirits into untimely doom. Engaging in a kind of speaking meditation, we carefully made passage through the unfurling currents. Easy there, careful now, whew! I tell you, we're either floating on cloud 9 or else we've already flown out past that cliff and sunk down into the land of shades. Not long after that, pressures unique to my own life, matters best left for another story, beckoned me back east, and like Simeon before me, I heeded the call. I bid Deerfield adieu under a neon donut shop sign in LA, sorry and somewhat ashamed to abandon him like that. It seemed like an eon we'd been trekking together. It was strange to leave so suddenly, a phantom absorbed back into phantom mist. Sorry as I was, I knew Deerfield would do just fine. Already he was starting to look angelic, a patina of sun having given his skin a healthy glow, coastal winds having massaged his hair into a crown of waves. We hugged and then stood there a moment, glowing. Everything glowed in that Hollywood sun. Or maybe I'm remembering a scene from a movie. Of course, this collection has nothing to do with me or my memories or a scene from a movie. It's about the trees, valleys, mountains, moon, and clouds. It's about the body in movement and the body at rest. It's about the wonder of imagination as it merges with the mystery of nature. And it's about the friends we make along the way, the poets, playwrights, gallerists, and yogis, but also the common man, the hardworking lout, the loafabout, the drinker, the gambler, the devil, the priest, the lover, the saint, the myriad manifestations of Atman in adventure. And if there's one thing I've learned, an adventure is like the Hydra's head. When one comes to an end, 12 more spring up in its place. And so in further adventures did I come to know the wanderers in these pages. For the lonesome soul, the road is a companion. We never go alone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Thank you for setting the stage. That was absolutely incredible. I love the fog in that intro and how we emerged from the fog. So stay tuned. Andrew will be sharing some songs later this evening. Yeah, for everyone who's been like following along and all the social media posts I've been making about this show, I did promise some clowns for this evening. They were supposed to be like the main entertainment for tonight's show. But I'm a little worried. I'm a little concerned because it doesn't look like they're here yet. So just give me a second while I'm gonna give them a call and we'll see where they're at. And then we can continue with the show because they should be here right now. Just one sec. I'm gonna dial them up. Let's see. The clowns. I think their number is 555 575 555.
Hey, Marshall.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Marshall.
Hey, guys.
We're we forgot.
We got lost on the way.
Yeah, we're running late. We just totally lost track of time.
And we just can't find the directions.
Yeah, we're working on getting there. I'm so sorry. But just check back with us and like check back with us a little bit later.
Yeah, we're pulling up a map.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We got a map. We're gonna use this map. All right.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna use the map.
See you soon, hopefully.
Yeah. Check back with us, Marshall. Sorry.
Sorry.
We'll get there. We promise.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh. Huh. Okay. All right. Well, that was the clowns. All right. So I guess they're gonna be here soon. All right. Well, I guess we can get on the road without them. And they'll hopefully catch up with us. Yeah. How about we get on the road? What's everyone think about that? Tell us in the comments what you've been enjoying so far, what you've been feeling. How's your night going? Oh, what GPS are they using? I see that. Yeah, I'm wondering about that GPS. We'll hopefully find out what map they're using as well. Yeah, so I guess to get on the road, our next performer is Marian McLaughlin. She's going to take us there with this really amazing cranky animation that she created. Yeah, I'm really excited to share this with you. It's she'll pop on in a few minutes after or right after the animation to tell you what a cranky is. But yeah, Marian McLaughlin is a multi-instrumental songwriter, poet, visual artist, educator based in Baltimore, Maryland. So yeah, let's see where this journey goes. There it is. All right.
Adventure waits. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Let your dreams take hold.
Oh, shit. I thought I was performing it.
Enchanted roadways, highways into concrete soul. The desert widens. The mysticism of now, trapped forever in desert paradise. Mountains meet desert, the four corners intersect, valley of sunshine. Silence of desert, empty open universe, space beyond the void. The Milky Way glows brighter. The longer you look at it, the later it gets. The moon blowing a kiss in the clouds, she shines through. Spring found in a field of tulips growing beside the Baltimore highways. What will the legend of Majika be after all the travels are over?
All right, that was Marian McLaughlin's Travel by Haiku Cranky. Hey Marian, would you like to tell us a little bit more about the cranky? I see you have the actual piece.
Hi. I thought I was gonna perform it live. I don't know what I'm actually going to be doing now. I might perform another cranky if that's what you want me to do. But yes, thank you, Marshall, for letting me be a part of your celebration tonight. This is just so awesome, seeing such a collective of people together. Crankies are an old form of storytelling, visual and narrative storytelling, and it's as you can see, there was this moving panorama going by, and so yeah, I painted a little visual story on a long scroll. It's kind of like old school TV or a storybook, but instead of page by page, it's all on one big piece of paper. And it goes in a box, which I can try to load another cranky. I was furiously unloading this cranky as that one played. So yeah, it goes in a box and it's called a cranky because it's got these little spinny handles on it. And then you, I don't know if y'all can see me so well, sorry, I didn't plan this loading it very well. But you put the paper in the box, and I'm gonna rewind this real quick off camera, but you turn the handles and the story goes by. So I can demonstrate another one real quick. This one I made, well, first off, I'll talk about that one I made for Marshall. His sister asked me if I could make a cranky for him for Christmas. And I made that one. And it was cool because Marshall was actually traveling back from New Mexico to Philadelphia while I was making the cranky. So it was cool to have this sort of journey of him traveling from New Mexico back home, and also very timely for the upcoming release of Travel by Haiku. So yeah, so I'm just gonna share one quick cranky real quick. The same time frame, I made a cranky for my Aunt Angela, who I think is on here, for her birthday. She's awesome. She's so there's her name in the constellations. She is a wonderful, awesome nurse who is out of this world. Lover of animals. She had some dogs and a cat named Cleo who have moved on to the Rainbow Bridge. She's loves to be outside and admire birds like cardinals, and also spend time in her garden, cooking great food, eating cannolis, and spending time with loved ones. That's supposed to be her with my Nana. So yeah, so that's it for me. Thanks for letting me share some art time with you all.
Thank you, Marian. That was awesome. And thank you, Angela, for being an inspiration to that beautiful cranky.
Yeah. Oop. All right, I'm gonna sign off of here. I look forward to seeing what other people are bringing to the Zoom table.
Yeah. And yeah, Marian, if you don't mind putting your socials on the chat for other people to find your work, or your website for people to, find more about your music and your crankies and your poetry. That'd be great. So moving on, we said we were getting on the road. Now who's let's see who's our first passenger. So this book, Travel by Haiku, was written collaboratively. I guess I'd like to introduce one of the first collaborators. So Gus Depenbrock spends his time in Los Angeles puttering around the garden. He imbues his dreams into many objects, whether they be words, soil, paint, or stone. It is all part of the magic that he uses to explore the world around us. So his words are in the first section of this new book, Travel by Haiku. Let's see a haiku from our adventures, and then we'll reconvene with him, and he's got some things to share. So let's get one of these haikus loaded up. Here we go.
"20 feet of pastel pink.
It all disappears.
And the buttes remain.
That was a haiku from Travel by Haiku. Gus, let's hear some more of your writing.
Hey, everybody. I just want to say thank you, Marshall. It's been such a freaking pleasure riding with you all these years.
You're my ride or die.
Yeah. It's been a long, long adventure. I wanted to start with a poem from one of the shows that we did together back in Philly. I think it was like the 4th show or something from our Play-Doh porno cave days. Let's start with this one. This is about the feeling I get when I see you. That thing that happens where it hits full volume everywhere at once. Rear-ended at high speed, ears ringing, blood gushing from the nose. I just want to bite you. I can feel it, and it's fast. And suddenly you're right there, and I slam on the goddamn brakes as hard as I can. Stop. Breathe. Breathe. Get your little animal self in order, because if you saw this wreck inside, you would run like hell. Our eyes meet, flash, white heat. Now I got to process a sentence to keep you with me. Put these symbols of civilization together. Hope the letters come out in the right order to draw you in. Steady, letters, keep it cool. Letters, real calm. I will eat you up. kind of gives you a taste of some of the shows that we did together. The next poem I'm gonna read is sort of one about driving on the road, kind of where the mind goes when you're out there on those long stretches of highway. It's called Eavesdropping. Sometimes when I'm driving on the highway for long stretches, I'll pull up behind a car and follow it. I'll take note of the movements of the car and the driver inside the car. I'll match the speed in random drifts in between the lines. I'll tune in to their life, fall in love with their wife, learn the names of their children and become their husband. I watch the intimate moments. I pull down the mirror and put on their lipstick while talking on the phone to their mother and picking truck stop tuna salad out of their teeth. Not to mention the bottle of Coke I hold between their knees. And if you would please, children, stop the backseat horseplay. When I am fully immersed, the exit comes up, and sometimes I'll follow the blinking light, and other times I won't. But I always put my turn signal on. And when the tempo clicks, harmonize with the flashes of light, it is bliss, and I'll pass on by and take a look at myself to see if I am who I created or if I am someone else driving unaware in another lane. Thanks. There's my 2 cents for this show. So glad to be a part of this book, Marshall. I'll give you back the floor.
Yeah, we did it. We
Yeah.
we did the book. We got it. Yeah, for further introduction about Gus, the collection that is in this new book of haikus is Between Me and Gus is based in West Texas, mostly in Big Bend National Park. Lots of like desert haikus. For folks who haven't spent much time in the desert, it's a wild place. Like it's a lot of long road stretches like that last poem Gus shared. Thank you so much, Gus. And yeah, please post in the chat where people can follow along and what different projects you're working on. And I know you got a new bookstore in LA, so feel free to share that too.
Oh yeah, check out the bookstore in LA tomorrow, today.
Yeah.
I'll just put the link in the post.
Cool. All right. So yeah, we're traveling. We got those haikus rolling. I'm very excited to be sharing this room with y'all. Our next performer is Lindo. Yes. And I'm like always floored to share the stage with Lindo. Lindo and I have shared the road together as Poets for Peace in 2017, and I've continued to collaborate on all sorts of writing projects since then, including Poets for Peace zine we released last year as a form of mutual aid for Black Lives Matter. Lindo Yes is a spoken word artist, creator of Lindo Yes clothing line, and an event host who was born and raised in Uptown Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He's unapologetically Black fusion of theatrical poetics and visual art, whose work addresses the constructs of love, masculinity, and social injustice. So yeah, next up we got Lindo. Yes.
Hey, what's poppin'? What's good? What's y'all? What's good? I'm in a very light mood, and I've been really trying to create my poetry from that space. So tonight I put together a set of 2 short poems and 2 long poems. And for the sake of time, I'm going to try to minimize my banner to just 1 line to introduce each poem. This poem is invested into softness, and it's called Tough Love. I want to be Black man that's held in quiet, small spoon, soft body. I feel I am black man that is holding in loudness, spoon fed that I need to be hard body. I feel like nobody. When somebody kills my softness to be tough, call it tough love. Tough love is being punched until you don't cry, and crying is the only thing that stops the punching from hurting as much. That is tough love. The next piece is called a skydive. I haven't been really creating a lot of new pieces, but I've been finding new ways to perform old pieces. So if you're familiar with any of my work, I hope these are your favorite songs on the radio, because they're about to be the jam that comes on next. This is a skydive. Tears rolled down my eyes as I looked in the mirror for answers. As you looked for a way out, you were the type of woman I blow bubbles with on a windy day, chase satellites in the sky. We stole parts for our time machine as we fought dragons with just water guns. But no matter how many times we time travel, may it be past or future, it will always be present while you're leaving. And before you leave, love, before you leave, I want to French kiss your soul so my tongue can speak on its being. You being you being beautiful. You create caterpillars in my stomach until they butterfly. You always on flight. That means you stay fly. I have never seen you at airports, but I know you have skydived because you have fallen for people. I have fallen for you. I hope you fall for me, but you worship the sky. And I'm too down to earth for you. But maybe my spaceship can land on a planet. You are the world. My world evolves around you. I hope I'm never out your orbit. I got secrets to tell you. Well, that's a lie. Because the only space in between us is the space we have created. And I have created this you and I verse just to talk about you. Yes, just to talk about you. Because I love the conversation in my head, because even when I'm not thinking, you are thought. And you have the biggest part of me, which is my heart. I hope you never lose it. Just in case I have kept the receipts, just in case I need that shit back, you know I have time travel. And seeing our future and seeing you leave me, well, I need you back in our present. Well, our joy is always, because I know in our future, our joy can be as faded as clothes that been washed too much. I need to stop time traveling, because I have watched you too many times leave me. Because you got skeletons in your closet? Well, don't worry. I have storage of baggage from me guilt tripping, but I can no longer afford that vacation. I've been on a pursuit of happiness. I hope you come with me. I hope you're on a drive or a passenger seat side with me. And don't worry about the money. The money's in the back seat of our drive. The money will come soon. You will leave me. I know you're expecting me to have some pretty words to say to change the forecast of the weather we're in, because I'm a poet. But all I can do is reside in a storm and think about moments that we laughed together, that we held each other tightly, that we told each other, I love you, and I'll remind you, and you chuckle, you hold me tightly and whisper in my ear, goodbye. Because we can no longer be any more committed than we are. And I hope in another lifetime, when you are a butterfly and I'm merely the wind, embracing the flapping of your wings, consoling your soul to be the free spirit as you are, maybe then we can be more than we are. I left you a voice message that night and told you, I hope one day we can skydive from space. Skydive from space, I know you're asking why. To the point we don't even know we're falling. Falling from what, you may say? Falling in love, falling for each other, falling from grace, because only foolish, clumsy people fall in love, and we have been too smart and too graceful to do foolish things like love. Thank you. I have two more poems, and I'm really excited to perform this poem, not I'm really excited because I think for me, I always find new things that I'm enjoying about performing this piece. Sometimes it is me being able to say that I'm not in this place anymore. Sometimes it is me reminding myself that it's so easy to be in that place, so I need to be guarded. But tonight, for me, performing this piece is like a celebration in a sense of just like, it feels good in these times of a pandemic that I have found ways to just like keep a record of things in ways that I didn't think of before. And for me, this poem is a record keeper. Yeah, I'm just gonna perform it, and then I'm gonna have a short poem that I'm gonna do right afterwards without no intro, because I just wanna be conscious of time. I was at the house party, music so loud, hands waving in the air. All I heard them say is, where the real kings at? Where the real kings at? I was at the house party, music so loud, hands waving in the air. All I heard them say is, where the real queens at? Where the real queens at? I was at the house party, music so loud, hands waving in the air. All I heard them say is, where the real kings at? Where the real queens at? Where the real kings, queens, queen, All we heard was the sirens. All I heard was my irregular heartbeat. And every time I hear my irregular heartbeat, I think to myself, when the last time I heard a grown man like a newborn child? Probably the same time he got new bracelets. You know, handcuffs that fit tight around his wrist, as tight around his wrist as that robber you performed yesterday. Probably as tight around his wrist as that unprotected sex he had that night to celebrate. But tell me, when do we ever feel safe? Because there's no vault for our emotions, so we be feeling like, no one be feeling like, man, no one be feeling like us, so we always feel alone, but never alone. And all we want to do is feel like the hero, you know, save ourselves and a few others. Well, that's the irony right there, because most people are birthed for superhuman, you know, alien to this world flying high, because he's above it all, to avoid a space looking down at the world, listening to all the world problems, thinking all the world problems is his and his problems is the world. Well, that's the worldview of most people that rather hide their smiles than a frown. And the same places where they greet haters with middle fingers, and the same places where they open their arms as open as 7-Elevens to embrace who you are, and the same places where they give their hearts out like organ donors just to show how much they love you. And I know he's thinking about this in the back of a cop car, thinking about how yesterday he was gonna cop a car just to show people how driven he is, how he's looking at every one of these street corners feeling like it's the inner road, how we became boys to men from the inner road, why all these street corners look like the inner road. Cop turned back and say, shut up, nigga. This is the end of the road. And all I can hear is my irregular heartbeat. And every time I hear my irregular heartbeat, I think to myself, when the last time I heard a grown man like a newborn child? 10 seconds before he got in that cop car, I told him, hey homie, man, look, man, I love you, man. I really mean it. I love you. Thank you so much. I'm ending my time with this last poem. It's called Flowers. Ain't flowers the blackest shit ever? How they can put dirt on us and we still grow, drown us in water and we survive, planet and everything that keeps us grounded. They be shooting solar rays at us, hoping that we wither, not knowing our melanin be photosynthesis, the sun be our best friend. Ain't flowers the blackest shit ever? How they can put dirt on us and we still grow, drown us in water and we survive, planet and everything that keeps us grounded. They be shooting solar rays at us, hoping we wither, not knowing our melanin be photosynthesis, the sun be our best friend. Ain't flowers the blackest shit ever? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Lindo, so much. Everyone, check out Lindo on Instagram at Lindo Yes. You'll see the full video of that piece he just performed. Some really powerful words there. I mean, just the growth in that last poem was always just like so insightful. Thank you, Lindo. So our next performer is Julia Daye. She's another longtime collaborator and fellow poet for peace. Julia Daye is a poet and journalist living in Taos, New Mexico. Her writing has appeared in numerous publications, blogs, and literary journals. Julia's lyrical poetry is often admired for its ability to discuss landscape, mindscape, and longing with electrifying craftsmanship and candor. She is the author of the book of poems, The Edge of Waking, and the literary blog, Investigating Reality. Everyone give it up for Julia Daye.
Hey, Marshall. Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys, and thank you so much for including me. It's very hard to follow what Lindo does, but I'll do my best. Yeah, I'm going to share 3 poems. The first one is going to be a piece I wrote during kind of the heaviest part of quarantine. And then the second one will be kind of a dreamy resolution to that. And the third one is a brand new one that I'll explain in a moment. So this first one is called Exile and Belonging. We harvest love in platitudes from behind our paper masks. The pack calls me back with every bodily cell. In my chest resides a child with outstretched hands. I wonder when things will be whole again. At home, the telephone rings and I completely lose myself, later overanalyzing every word exchanged. In scarcity, social perfection is the key for connection. In scarcity, everything becomes a Hail Mary. The metal basin beneath the kitchen leak fills. In time, grief becomes the chauffeur to remembering. Our shoes by the doorway side by side. I used to lean on my friend's shoulder as I laughed at the funny way she said things, our colorful beverages in hand. How life has emptied, how the world has transformed. Outside it is spring, inside deep winter. Through the window, tiny purple flowers have blossomed to confetti on the grass. The pine tree leans in the desert breeze. I sit solitary and uncertain as a gulf parted from the ocean. Soon, uncertainty will no longer rage inside itself. Soon, it too will pool slowly over time. Perhaps being in our own longing is to make a home within the separateness while remembering unity all at once. Perhaps belonging is to make home within the separateness while remembering unity all at once. I step outside to watch the desert life sway in the breeze. The grass shudders. The mountain waits. My mind ignites with words. So I meant to say early on, I am sitting here in Taos, New Mexico right now. I know Marshall from his time here. And so a lot of the poetry I chose to read tonight reflects that. So here's the resolution poem to the poem that I just read. Summer in the valley. The hills roll like shoulders, tumbling green with grass and pine. Midday heat bathes the land. The crops are growing once again. Along the valley, the river carves the soil, rushing the final snowmelt in earthly calligraphy. Amid the stream's wafty murmur, the sound of laughter, the houses lean in social symphony. There is much to do today. In the windows, people come and go, stopping for moments to check on the horses grazing outside before turning their attention back. Summer is the name of this heat and togetherness, alacrity, society, and expanse. Clothing dries in an hour on the line, the mountains in the distance, stately indigo against the cerulean sky, watch over the valley's ever-changing seasons. Down below, a breeze lifts the pine-dressed branches, a gentle fermata amid the rush of day. Their fragrant hazel spice, the clothing, the voices, all at once, lift with them. All right, I'm going to read one more. This one's actually really special, so I'm excited to kind of perform it for the first time. I guess that's kind of the first time reading the others, but this is, I kind of got a wild hair earlier this month and started writing in form again, which is something I don't do very often. I wrote a sestina, and I know there's a lot of poets on this Zoom right now, but for folks who don't know, sestina is a poem with 6 stanzas of 6 lines each and a final triplet. And all the stanzas have the same 6 words at the end, but they get rearranged with each stanza. So it's a very, very strict structure, but sometimes my creativity can feel like a hurricane a little bit. So sometimes putting it in a structure can really help something actually make its way out. So this is Sestina de Taos. It's about Taos, New Mexico. Sestina de Taos. In this panoramic refuge we call home, where high arid hills cascade with sage. Actually, I'm gonna stop because I think it's important that to like really kind of hear it. I wanna actually tell the group what words I chose at the end of the sentences, because they repeat over and over. So the words I chose for this is home, sage, spirits, water, mountains, and time. So for folks who've been on the road, or I know Marshall knows this, those words are very, very resonant with this place. Okay, I'm gonna start again. Sestina de Taos. In this panoramic refuge we call home, where high arid hills cascade with sage, the wind smells like spice and spirits, snowy peaks melt to rushing water, the evening glows scarlet across the mountains, and sunsets belie the village of no time. Newcomers learn that there is no time in this strange land, now their home. Arriving in visions of majestic mountains, few stay, but those of ageless sage wade the land's spacious knowing like water, listening for the hum of great spirit. The outside world moves on from spirit, rushing between races of no spare time. There isn't much room for languid, watery passions in this cacophonous hive and home. But rage-withered hearts ripen to sagely mornings, peace blooms in dreams of mountains. The sagely glory of Taos Mountain quiets even the shrillest magpie spirits, flying chatter from tree to sage. Below, Taos Pueblo, here for lifetimes, knows all the secrets of their home. Red willows lean, streams sing with water. In high desert, there's only so much water. Pueblo and neighbors, grateful to the mountain, know the tenuousness of their arid home. Prayer is the way for the people of spirit and land. drying seasons long for before times, and storms of dust envelop the sage. What is this place but a dream of sages, a majestic land gorged by water from the Rio Grande, the river of pastime and death underneath the watch of Taos Mountain? The people here drift like distant spirits, familiar yet apart in their shared home. Whispering water answers the sagely hush of a mountain people bewitched by home, frozen in time, yet alive amid winds of ancient spirit. Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you so much, Julia. Wow, that was an incredible sestina.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. No, I just posted in the chat. I kept hearing home, home, home. And that's definitely like the sound. For me, the Taos hum is like home, home, home. Yeah, thank you, Lindo and Julia, both. Like, yeah, I feel like I really enjoyed how just the play on words interweaved in both of your sets. Just like you guys are both incredible wordsmiths with language. So thank you. Please both post your socials and let people know where they can find more of your work, your websites. Everyone else, yeah, I see you guys are commenting, yeah, talking about what you just heard. How's everyone feeling? Let's hear how you're feeling. We've been on this road for a while. I mean, has anyone needed to refill their tea yet? You know, I'm feeling the heart speak. I feel like it's definitely speaking tonight. I think it's about time we turn on the radio, maybe turn some music on. Our next set is going to be Jafar Barron. For all of you who have met me typewriting poetry in the Rittenhouse Square in Philadelphia, you might know Jafar. He's an incredible trumpet player. He originally grew up in the Mount Airy section of Philadelphia. Barron attended both Howard University and University of the Arts, but eventually left college behind. He instead chose to go on the road to pursue his music career. There he would eventually play for the neo soul first albums of artists Erykah Badu and Jill Scott. His new album, this is exciting, he just released a new album. Le Nouveau Commencement is a one-man free bop exploration of sound, imagination, and it's released on Under the Radar Records just this past February. So it's in stream. He wants you to know it's streaming on all major platforms. You can look it up on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music. Just look for Jafar Barron and you're going to find him. Recently, me and him did a little bit of a session in Rittenhouse Square where he played trumpet, and I read some haikus from this new book. So let's turn this radio on and see what we came up with.
Hi, I'm Jafar Barron. I'm a trumpeter, musician, composer as well. I play this instrument here. I have an album, Jafar Barron, Le Nouveau Commencement, streaming on major platforms, including Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. This is actually the title track. It's called Le Nouveau Commencement, or The New Beginnings.
All right, Jafar, let's jam some haikus.
To sit on a rock and watch the sea
There's nothing any more pretty. Some say life's a beach. Deerfield says, get lost in it and enjoy the view. Melted glacier lakes, visionary reflections, grand Tetons rising. The earth offers gifts, abundance at rainbow's end, revealed by the storm. I could sit here and write haikus for the rest of my life, but then what? Yeah, I saw the last comment from Cameron and Stephanie was legendary. I mean, Jafar is a true legend. I'll type his socials on there. You can look him up, Jafar Barron. It's JafarBarron. Give him a follow on Instagram and also look up for his new album on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, everywhere. We are running late, I think. I mean, this is quite an adventure. I feel like we're definitely getting stuck in these like little way stations, but we're not the only ones who are late right now. We're still waiting on those clowns, it seems. I mean, let's check in on see where our entertainment the main entertainment for tonight, which was these Fred and Gina, these great clowns. Not really sure why they haven't arrived yet, but let's see where they are in their journeys. Let's see.
Okay, pull up the map.
All right, maps. Marshall zoom. Marshall zoom.
All right, they found us.
There he is.
Perfect.
Directions.
Fred and Gina's house.
Looks
Fred
good. Looks
Gina's
good.
house.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh, great. I'll click this.
Oh yeah, that looks good. That looks
Starting route to Marshall's.
Here we go.
Well, oh, hey, okay. Oh,
At your destination.
okay.
Oh. Yep.
You have arrived at Marshall's.
All right, it looks like they're almost here. So we'll keep driving and seeing what's going on, or we'll keep performing, sharing some poetry. Soon the clowns will hopefully be here. In the meantime, really excited to introduce the other two some of the other collaborators for this new book, Travel by Haiku. So yeah, as I mentioned, this is a collaborative book written by many different poets from around the country. These next two poets, Beattie and Cameron Stuart, are featured in the last section of this book, where we traveled together from Taos, New Mexico to Glacier National Park in Montana. Beattie is an artist, designer, and editor who specializes in interdisciplinary storytelling. She investigates social and systemic processes via the written word, installed performance, and interactive media. Cameron Stuart is a writer and composer. He was born in Florida and now lives in New York City. He often collaborates with various mirror selves, so he's quite a clown himself, including Seraphic Romance Rots Truth and Glam Ren Stupid Art. So yeah, let's see a haiku that we wrote during our adventures in this next little performance. Here it comes. And here we go. The aspen stands alone.
Aspen stands alone.
Family cut down by time.
That's one tough cowboy.
All right. Cameron and Stephanie, if you'd like to tell our audience a little bit more about what you will be performing today.
Hey everybody, we're here in New York City drinking this wonderful tea, very tasty.
The heart speaks.
And yeah, do we have anything to say about, we just had a wonderful trip with Marshall, as he was just saying, in 2016.
Yeah, and yeah, we always enjoy spending time and collaborating with Marshall, and I'm just so grateful that you put it all together and brought us all here, and that we get to see and share with each other and listen to all this amazing poetry, and it's just great. Thanks for having us.
So I'm gonna play a song, and then I'll have another video for another song, and I'll describe that before my song. Should I do that first, and then you do your video? You want to?
Maybe you should just play your song, and then we'll introduce the videos after.
Great. So yeah, when we took the trip in 2016, I was working on some guitar instrumentals that we got a chance to play in Taos. So Stephanie and I, at that time, we were traveling around the West Coast for like 2 months, and we met up with Marshall in Taos and drove up to Glacier National Park. And one of the things that happened at that time was we learned about this pine bark beetle, which is out of control in the Southwest and also in many of the mountain regions in the western part of the United States. And
I recently realized that it's also made its way to the East Coast, but it's for the pitch pines here, and it's a big problem here as well. It's beginning.
So yeah, we just had this this kind of very spectral experience driving through Colorado, seeing all of these dead pine trees, and somebody in the Forestry Service out in California actually had prepared us for it and told us that it was happening, but it was just unreal to actually see. So after the trip, I wrote this song and I named it after the animal. It's called Dance of the Pine Bark Beetle. And, after going to Mesa Verde and other historical sites and seeing the way that humans live, I think there's a lot to learn from the pine bark beetle, which is growing so fast and eating so much that it's eating itself out of a food source. So, but this is one of two songs we'll be doing here, and it's just
From his new album.
Yes, I'll tell you about that in a second. Thanks. So yeah, next up we got two videos. One is just a recording of this, one of these songs that I recorded for this album. I made it in January, and again, they're songs I was writing when we were writing this book with Marshall. And then Stephanie, you want to say about your video?
And the first one will be a piece that I've made that is likely the first in a series of pieces about the hours in the day, but also about the way that that the elements play with each other. And this particular one is about spring melting. Yeah, hope you enjoy it.
Enjoy! Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Marshall. Thanks to all the other poets and creative people and writers.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So I'm going to queue up these next videos. If you guys want to post in the chat where people can find more about your work and maybe where they can get this new album, that would be great. And then people can tune in. This first video is by Stephanie Beattie.
This blue screen glowing is not winter. It won't make room for longer days. What is hidden? What is unseen yet still exists? Spring inside winter. As such, a window through the snow and sky and trees looks out on flowers, objects collected before an unseeing eye, shadows the sun leaves. In the shadows lives our own vital stuff, pulsing through hidden channels. Buds swelling openly, now the ice melts in earnest, running from sap springs, seeds warm in the ground. Is it too soon to be born into this cold world? A woman reading stone tablets in the garden hums beneath her veils. A gate opens behind her, and without stepping, she is already gone. Am I not drinking the same sweet water as my ancestors swam in? Am I not turning like the turn of brittle branch to leaf wand yearly? Are we giving you back what we have taken from you, even as we take? Transform in which way? Both violence and decay are matters of speed. Death is a gift you give to the skin of life stretched across the planet. Emerge to find you are not the only ears to hear the tree fall sound. Hum, the flies say, keep up with the warm sun, find dew, do the deed and die. How long can life be? Just enough time to get to know the place, not even. Why do we think we have arrived when endlessly we are departing? Gone woman walking off on some byway many call home, but not her. Old rags can cling on and hang wound up round the branch, unknowing stranglers. But the branch drops fruit, like so many raindrops, a cup overflowing, and the cup filling full spills over the edge and feeds tiny monsters. The tiny ones feed Leviathan. Not enough tigers to go around, you know. An appetite for rare foods reveals extinction as carnal pleasure. But how to eat well when nothing is abundant yet, before spring comes? night with a waning moon, setting early, oh, universal turning, moon set over evening tree, empty clothesline, empty sky, sometimes haunted by pilots, hurling forward in great hops, jet trails, streaking bright hydrocarbon clouds. Who knew our brush could cover such enormous canvas? Why should Atlas try to carry this world? It seems a senseless burden. The Earth holds herself in orbit. The sun holds his path among the stars. This blue screen glowing is not winter. It won't make room for longer days.
There's the moon. I was wondering when she was going to come out. If you all feel inclined, I invite you to unmute yourselves and maybe we can have like a collective howl out into the heavens of the moon. Yeah, I can
You
give
said it.
Thank you, everyone. That was excellent. Yeah. Thanks everyone for being here and staying tuned in. I'm really excited to continue on the road. I had mentioned in the comments, if you guys are interested in the book and you didn't order one when you RSVP'd, you can get one on my website. It's marshalljameskavanaugh.com. Really easy to find. And yeah, it's a book that is I guess it hints at the things that we are lucky to experience tonight. Really excited for our next performer, Amber Renee. She's a chronic writer and resident spoonie from Bucks County, PA, known to mixed mediums. Amber released a book, Thoughts on this most recent episode, in 2016, shortly before its musical counterpart. In January 2020, she put out a poetry picture book, I Feel Like I'm Nothing, available online. Presently, she finds herself an editor of serotonin poetry. I'm like really a fan of Amber's words. I feel like they'll continue the themes of our last guests, Cameron and Stephanie. I feel like her words are like a space trip through emotions and thoughts. So yeah, I'd like to welcome Amber to the stage.
Well, thanks for that. I feel nervous having to live up to that. So I hope you don't mind that I wrote my banter down because I'm really bad at video anything. So with my trusty phone in front of me, I am honored for this opportunity to discover and share space with so many artists and true souls, which is very true. So thanks for having time for me too. I hope you don't mind if I read a few poems in remembrance of my mother, who would definitely be tuning in right now if Wi-Fi reached whatever big beach in the sky she's at currently. So the first poem is called Sunrise Surprise. And it was the poem that was on the back of her memorial card. Your birth was a sunrise surprise, a fiery happening of red hair. Your soul reflects and flows forever from my eyes. Easy, cool blue, yours, the sky above mine. All things come but to go. Though, what if going were just coming to another's perception? Would that bring some exception? To know waves as illusion. Sorry, my dogs are distracting me. To know waves as illusion and everything just salt water moving, like you sweeping in to recede out. That's heaven. Lucky enough, I have lived by your tide, a swell which brought you to the depths I cannot dwell, left only with seashells to echo your life. This isn't goodbye. I'm heavy, wet sand. This isn't goodbye. Let's call it until we swim together again. Thank you. So another one, kind of following the same vein. Last year, a month after my mom passed, I got a job delivering newspapers in the middle of the night, which was interesting because I require lots of sleep. So it was a time, and yet I look back on it interestingly. So this one's called Newspapers. Last night at 2 a.m., I thought about driving my old delivery route again. I haven't seen the Starfalls in 10 months now. That means it's been 13 since my mom passed, 14 since she really smiled, and 2 years out from the day life changed. There are always deer on my route, raccoons and rabbits, skunks putrid in the air. I'd be playing hip hop or pop or metal, sometimes mixing the three. There's a part of me that really makes that job into a martyr. What's there about it? The misery I felt, car walls closing in, folding newspapers in warehouses, people milling with stories. God, I love the whole rural New Jersey middle of the night thing with its jumpy stars and chilly bite, stony silent, extinguished consciousness driving moonlit back roads, sometimes rain. It's something else, being the only one awake for miles. Question: if a car drives into a ditch at 4 a.m. and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? From experience, yes. Is this a test? Crying through morning mist, driving moisture for moisture, and feeling the wind I've always hated, driving with the windows down, tossing or walking up to Shadow House, driving past sleeping cars left in the dust for my 30 miles tonight already, hoping to leave my morning before morning, eerie evenings, and I never did buy that flashlight, did I? Illuminating, house codes, human habitation, a phone's highlighting, nighttime isolation. Give me alarms at 1 a.m. and going to bed at 6. Taking pictures of gravestones or train tracks pink from peaks of sunlight at the other 6. And there are always deer on my route, raccoons and rabbits, skunks putrid in the air. But never had I ever seen more cardinals with their flashes of red hair, fluttering, troubled me enough to spark curiosity. Google says the red cardinal is representative of a loved one's attempting contact. I want it to be that. But no, I'd thought, rounding out the curve of my last 15 houses. No, I'd think, tossing out papers until I pulled with tendinitis. No, I knew. I'm totally alone. Finished my papers. Time to go home. When they're in the headlights. Yes, I'm alone. Alone with the 10 or so cardinals blocking the road. True story. Okay. Anyway. I haven't read that one out loud, really, especially not the people, so. New. All right, last poem, little bit happier-ish. And thank you guys all once again for listening to me and for performing yourselves. That you guys are amazing. So this poem is a product of sitting with a pen in my hand while quieting my head for guidance about or from or whatever I could pick up from the universe about my mom. Meteor Litanies. Penetrated veil, bullet hole heart, trigger happy tears drop, dilute the blood. I will be and always have. There is no number to my mass. Eternity could not contain me. Trip through the veil, you will still miss me. Eyesight cannot arrive here. The body you'll never find here in this swimming prenatal wholeness, cyclic creation molded, touched by rough hands, clever manipulation. Polycephalic in that. There are many truths to this end, each truth like a head. From the body of null creation, masterpiece humming vibration, strings in relation to multiverse making you and me. And what happens to be when the two become we? I mean, do you see of everything it must be, bound to the tip of a needle, sewing strings to existence? Quantum envision, it says, there's life in you, human. Brilliancy, time, confusion, reality you've proven, veins bruised and choosing to move in way of solar system epiphanies, lost star hypotheses, I'm God, but also I'm not. And that is all you've got to know about that. In memory, energy follows the heart home like imprint genetic, passed down heritage, triggers, the spiritual DNA, not to go away, but like a stain etched from fire, it stays. My sister's snapping for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amber. See everyone in the comments saying like, this is like Lindo says, thanks you for sharing. This is touching, beautiful poem from the heart. Thank you for reading it. Thanks for sharing your beautiful work, Amber. Honesty, hugs, best.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was really, thank you so much. It was like, thank you for sharing your heart with us. Yeah, our next performer is Allis Chang. She has a new chapbook that she's about to release, and she prepared a short video, kind of plays with similar themes of these last few works. So yeah, let's check out what Allis put together for us.
The one who finds comfort in the thieving crow. Ambitious anomaly, watching a different sunset from the same window daily. I fear there will be no music in the afterlife, as the hours drag onward into nowhere. And in the dream, it's at my window, borrowed light. I haunt downtown near the Cecil, and he takes me to the place where the dawn chorus greets the mountainside. A cacophony of bird songs echo in your chest. I say something I can't remember. The world fades quicker than I'd like. In the morning, you call me, but I don't pick up.
So you can find Allis on Instagram at Titwillow. Also, Amber, you can find on Instagram at Amber Renee Poetry. Thank you, everyone. That was, I feel like that's, I don't know, it's important for us to have these spaces where we can, move through all these different experiences with each other. So thank you, everyone, for being here for one another. I feel like, yeah, the heart, it's all about the heart. All right, so our next performer, really excited about. I mean, I'm excited about everyone who's been performing. This has been a real privilege to share the stage with everyone. I'd like to introduce Javen Howard. He's a fellow haikuist and poet for peace from the Bronx, New York. He truly believes that the lived experience is the ultimate teaching tool and uses poetry as a social forum to foster discourse about love, culture, and identity. He is currently a teaching artist for Teachers and Writers Collaborative and used in summer camp for the arts. So yeah, I'd like to bring Javen Howard to the stage.
Thank you, Marshall. It's great to be here and to hear so many wonderful poets and experience all the different immersive sounds. Today I'm gonna do a few different poems and mix in some haikus in between. I'm actually gonna get us started with a haiku series, Heartbreak on a Full Moon. And it's based off of when I listened to this Chris Brown album, Heartbreak on a Full Moon. The night tried to shine on us, but instead we ran away the darkness. Stars shooting down from when our love unbuckled just like Orion's belt. Discovered space that existed before our love alienated. I love her. Heartbreak over. A full moon questions tough love paradise. Pull up frustrated, I bite my tongue. Emotions hurt the same on me. Covered you in love, don't slow me down on purpose. Summer breeze this way. Tell me what to do. Yellow tape my privacy. Trust me, let shit go. Love her not. Sometimes I love her, sometimes I love her not, but I ain't letting her go, 'cause she's all I got. We pace rapidly against life's current. Our heartbeats race for one another down a one-way street, a collision course to death do you part. Who says love isn't dangerous, isn't crazy to risk affection for chemistry between two? It's an experiment, all but an expensive one, where one becomes a junkie, a fiend for a fix of that dopamine. Attachment, attraction, you lust, wanting badly, yearn as you go through withdrawal. Lovesick, the sleeplessness, loss of appetite, anxiousness as you languish with love. Do you like drugs? 'Cause love is one. Sometimes I love her, sometimes I love her not. I think I might let her go before she's all I got. I love mixing music in as well. Carl Thomas is one of my favorites. I'll do 2 more haikus before I switch over. We fell in love once, but never counted the times we tried to get up. We whisper in waves while the things we forget screams to be found again. Ode to the bikes I never rode. Thinking about movement, and I can't ride a bike, so I was stuck with this piece in this last month, struggling with still I can't ride a bike, so this is one of my newer pieces. Ode to the bikes I never rode. I don't remember my first bike, only parts of a story behind how it was stolen before I could take the training wheels off. I was 4, too young to understand the acceleration of trauma, but old enough to recognize what was held in between the gaps of continual loss. No matter what age, there will always be pain that we can't ride away from. So I became destined for pegs and add-on for adventures when I've always felt uncomfortable about riding bitch. My friends dumped me once they realized they couldn't pop wheelies or hit the main hill without expending too much energy with me on. So I switched to rollerblades in the 5th grade, mostly for the momentum, but also for Julia, my sister's friends, who taught me a different way to skate through life. I remember my second part, the part of the story on how it was originally only collateral, really after to never even learn how to ride the damn thing. I was 12, my dad demanded me to replace from Destination a Drama, a PS1 game that a friend never gave back, appropriately titled Ready to Rumble. As the summer pedal passed, we walked into heated days that sweated out our friendships and pressed buttons. The bike was awkwardly painted baby blue with the original steel bottom frame, black pegs. The truth, I didn't even want the damn bike. I wanted to return it back to him even before I left his lobby, but my pops escorted me to his friend's house to visit his son for my money or something of equal value. He gave me the whole summer to figure it out. The irony, I couldn't even ride the bike home, and I'm still trying to pedal my way out of going through the motions. Have one last piece. I'll preface it with a haiku before and a haiku after. This is from my Black Distortion haiku. Grammar flaws. Black souls hang on curves after words, apostrophes, yet we don't question. Teenage summers. Being 13, if it's not hard enough the first time, I wonder what it's like the second go around. Daryl seems to get the hang of it. He said, being left back can have its advantages. Mr. Payton doesn't see it. I can tell how he says his name that he doesn't expect much from him. He pairs us together for assignments, hoping that whatever I have rubs off on him. At least that's how he explains it to me. Being 14, if it's not hard enough the first time, the summers get colder as the stench of jealousy and death ages friendships into open cases. I was diagnosed with Desert Dick when my friends found out I was still a virgin. Daryl said if I ain't getting my dick wet, I should at least get my feet wet in some snatching runs after I told him my pockets hurt more than my ego did after being embarrassed like that during Manhunt. Being 15, if it's not hard enough the first time, I wasn't in love, but my girlfriend was 18. I discovered 5 gray hairs one morning, releasing my do-rag, thinking my waves were in motion. My silence grows thicker than my beard after each attempt to shave off a conversation. When Daryl got sentenced, the courtroom handcuffed 7 years of brotherhood into family-only visits. I was applying for colleges when my dad was in rehab. I wanted to put more distance between us. Being 16, if it's not hard enough the first time, you can never push blood back into your father's body, only hold it. His blood sweltering like the pulse of the heart, like the pulse of the sun. It's hard to consider life in the summer heat. I knew it was both my fault he almost died and was still here. Counseling was only suggested only after my grades became a concern, but I exchanged that for more extracurricular activities after school. Daryl wrote me and said he'll be home by the summer. Months passed. The letters never stopped when I didn't reply. I asked for death that Christmas when I couldn't think of any other present. And I'll end it with black apple pie. Stale cores rot black dreams. The drop off forgotten just like apples off trees. Thank you.
Thank you, Javen. Really love that last haiku, especially. That was awesome. Yeah, thank you for taking us those places. I love where your words are kind of like, it feels like a dance. See, everyone in the comments is also sending their love. Yeah, Javen, if you'd like to post where people can find your writing on Instagram or elsewhere, your website, please post in the chat so people can connect with you. All right, our next performer is Lady Valore. So yeah, I don't know if everyone's kind of noticed there's this kind of like underlying theme of new releases throughout this show. We have a new released book. We have a chapbook that was just demoed. And Lady Valore has a new album called Care that was released 2 weeks ago. So her soft, soothing voice is like a whisper of change in the air. You can check it out on Bandcamp or Instagram. So yeah, Valore, what are you going to share with us today?
Hey, everybody. Wow, thank you, Righteous Poet, Jay Howard. That was incredible. I'm like, my heart's like beating really fast. So I just want to take a moment to appreciate Jay's words. Let's just have like 5 seconds or so, and I'm just gonna ease into some poetry. So there is an ache and loneliness you may never fully shake in this existence. And these systems break so many and expect you to rake up the mess. There is always this longing in my chest that I can't rest until we're on the other side. And then there are the moments of gratitude for being here, for this breath, and for the jobs I take on. But at times I just sob at the frustrations thrown around, at being stuck in a town and not in motion, conflicting sensations, hexed hesitations, solid intuition, vague assumptions through a screen. I feel a page in my life turning. A new chapter is just beginning. I don't know what will be written, but I feel the gravity of the life I've lived, of all the life around me, swarming, spinning, quitting, releasing, parking lots with no passion, endless construction, constant tension, ebbs and flows. All I know is you can't buy back time. There is no rewind, just ceaseless endurance, trying not to succumb to indifference. This heart is a massive ship, almost always drowning, yet somehow never sinking for too long. I feel it all. Your projections, your judgment, your apathy. I smile and ask if you would like more coffee. You asked me for the check. All you left was change, and I felt it coming. That was an old poem I never did anything with, so I just found it today. But I felt, it's weird how you write things in the past and then you're like, what was I even thinking? Like, what was I even thinking about in that moment? But you feel it again. You're like, wow, I'm here again. And I needed this poem. I swear I write poems for my future self. That's like why I do poetry. Do you hear the old racist and fascist systems crumbling? Can you see the people rising up? Do you recognize these revolutions are not new? People have been fighting for so long to be free, to be seen, to not be killed. They have been fighting for free housing and medical care and food. The people of the revolution provide mutual aid and direct action. Together, we are paving a new way because corporations will not get away with their theft of land and labor. Police will not get away with the terror. These evil monopolies of greed and destruction will one day cascade. Their wealth will evaporate. Corrupt entities will no longer get away with the stealing of the earth's precious resources and tainting them. No more dirty rivers, no more borders, no more pipelines, no more trees cleared away for manifest destiny and industry. No more immigrants in cages, no more indigenous people oppressed, no more Black people killed by police, no more economy to bow down to. You see, consumerism is not the key. There is no ethical consumption under capitalism. Stop giving away your money to Amazon and all these banks and so many more that exploit and take away from others who use prison labor. Buy local. Stop giving your money to companies that don't care. Stand up to the oppressors and demand reparations. Look out for the hurting and see how you can help. Listen to people's stories and learn from them. There are so many ways to help, big and small. Brainstorm and get going. Ask for help if you need it. Join an organization doing the work. It's okay to be afraid and unsure, but we need to end xenophobia and racism. We need to stay focused. Take care of yourself, but don't forget about the collective. It's never too late to join the fight, to create solidarity within and around you. Much love. I could do one more, but I don't want to take up more time because I feel like we're already running late. What do you say, Marshall? It's your call. Can I do one more? Or should I just bow
out? If you want to keep it quick, like
okay.
Like one of those.
Quick. What is okay? Fuck putting a $sign on my time. All I want to do is recline and relax with no stress or tax. Forget about stacks of money. I just want free housing and healthcare for everyone under the sun. I can't stand by with a silent tongue, waiting for the system to fall. I'm shouting and pushing it down with all my might, providing community care almost daily, organizing and uplifting. It may not feel like it now, but this world is shifting. The climate is always changing. Ice is melting and will be no more. The oppressed will overthrow and overcome. We're making the system come undone rung by rung. Every time someone is arrested, protecting the earth or the people, it is not in vain. Unfucking ourselves with every seed saved and sowed into the soil. Every time we stand up to end the senseless capitalistic toil. Every time we shut racism down. Every time we listen and care. Whenever we feed and share. It really means something and makes a difference. Realize we cannot tame Turtle Island as much as greed tries to bleed the world dry. Tell me, why do we keep playing into this act of acquiring and colonizing? Is it the programming and conditioning? I have seen people unlearn toxicity and begin anew. I have. And you can too. The work we have to do is never ending, but so fulfilling. And even when the injustice and oppression tries to make you feel less than, pause and remember the heartbeat of the revolution. Focus on organizing so we can collectively bring in a new way of living. It may seem like the police are winning, but they're not. These greedy upholders of white supremacy will be nothing but dust, so trust this political charade will end. And if you haven't started, now is a great time as ever to begin. Much love and solidarity, Lady Valore. Thank you, Marshall, for having me.
Yo, solidarity, Lady Valore. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like your words are like, you know, casting hexes on the, you know,
I'll put my new album in the comments. I'm based outside of New Brunswick, New Jersey. I work with a lot of organizations doing amazing work. There's Shiloh in New Brunswick and Central New Jersey DSA, Mutual Aid. We've been buying and delivering groceries to families in need. So if you know anybody in New Jersey that wants to deliver groceries, let me know if you want to donate. All the proceeds from my album go to the grocery shopping for families. So thank you.
Yeah, post your link in the chat where people can find you and get this new album called Care. All right, Jeremy M. Brownlowe is up next. So a lot of these people you're seeing tonight are people I've met on the road or journeyed with or shared the road with, or, you know, carry that traveler spirit in their heart. Jeremy is also a fellow typewriter poet who travels around the country sharing on-demand poetry with passerby. So like me, the dream poet for hire, he sets up in public spaces and types poems for people. Jeremy creates music and is the author of several books under the pen name J.M. Brown, including The Adventures of Typewriter Troubadour, Just Call Me Joe, Storybook Girlfriend, and Angels of the Underground, touching on the subjects of relationships, addiction, and his experience coming out as a transgender man. So everyone give it up for Jeremy M. Brownlowe.
Thanks, Marshall. Man, it is so great to be here and see all the great artists and musicians and dreamers coming out to support you in your new release. And it's excellent. I've surely enjoyed it and look forward to some more adventures in the future. I'm gonna read a couple of paragraphs from my book, which details my very first tour. And as Marshall mentioned, I am a transgender man, and it is Transgender Visibility Day, apparently. So, hello. Surprise, surprise. When I first went out on the road, however, I was pre-transition. I was still in my female body form, and this is when that takes place. But yeah, it's been quite a journey across the country as well as inward. And being a poet or typewriter troubadour for hire has certainly helped me along my way. So on the trek out, Riders on the Storm by The Doors, you guys know that song, right? Accompanied the rolling thunder's rumble and the boom. I marveled in awe at the occasional lightning bolt ricocheting across the sky. Driving around dusty curves, my open window invited in pricks of rain and the seductive scent of petrichor as it rose from the dry earth in a steamy sizzle. By the time we made it to the loose gravel road leading to Gonzalo's property, the sun had begun to set. The sky was smeared with bruised violets and electric pink clouds that were so bright, I imagined they tasted like cotton candy. Gonzalo greeted us as we pulled up, stepping out of the metal storage container, wearing flip-flops. He was on the shorter side, balding, muscular, and handsome all the same. A lean mutt strutted loyally by his thigh as we rolled up. Shortly after a strong handshake, Gonzalo offered to take me to see the rest of his 11 acres from the view of his dune buggy. Leah stayed behind to prepare dinner inside the RV. Gonzalo strapped me into the buggy and flipped on the engine. The smell of gasoline filled my nostrils. Ready? He asks. Aye, aye, Captain, I responded, thrilled for the next adventure. We bumped and rattled through dusty ditches, exploring the perimeter of his land, leaving the smell of gas and a tired engine smoking behind us and his dog as it ran wild along our side. Eventually, we reached another gravel road, which separated his rural estate from the next. Gonzalo slowed down the buggy and pointed at what looked like the neighborhood junkyard. Behind a wire gate was a jumbled jungle of bent piping, sun-cracked tires, splintered pieces of wood, and tarps billowing in the evening breeze. The barely standing structure was home to more than just tetanus-ridden nails and spiders. It was actually the residence of a 70-year-old hoarder named Valentino. Living as a desert-dwelling recluse, Valentino rarely emerged from his empire of isolation. When he did come out, he'd wait for the light of the moon to illuminate scraps that had been discarded across the desert land to add to his castle of clutter. Gonzalo whipped the dune buggy around in a cloud of dust and whistled for his dog to follow us back to the RV. On the way, he told me a story about when he first took Leah by Valentino's property. 2 of Valentino's beastly dogs had greeted him, patrolling the gate, trying to intimidate them with crazed yellow eyes and gnashing teeth. Normally, Gonzalo carried a gun and said he wouldn't hesitate to shoot the dog if it came at him or Leah. After all, this was the Wild West, where every man had to protect himself. Apparently, Valentino wasn't the only creature of the night. There were coyotes that prowled and howled at the desert sky. It was also common for immigrants and refugees to cross the border before sunrise. It was safer than daytime since the sun and the feds wouldn't be burning up their trail. Have you had any problems with the cartel? I asked. Nah, most of the people coming through here aren't involved with any of that, he replied. They mostly mind their own business, trying to keep a low profile. Every now and then you will hear of a drug bust, maybe, but not a lot. As we rolled in from our adventure, Gonzalo offered to take me up on his tiny plane the next morning. The rest of the night would be spent around a fire pit roasting s'mores and telling some of the stories I had already managed to accumulate on the road. However, still a novice camper, I remained weary of the wild. By the time I got settled under the covers, my mind began to wander into paranoia, remembering that coyotes and perhaps even Valentino were probably on the prowl. Drifting off into a lucid sleep, I jolted back and forth between differing levels of consciousness, thinking I could hear predators sniffing outside my tent. I must have fallen asleep at some point because I was thoroughly disturbed when my body flung itself straight up in a force of primal instinct. My heart was racing. I wasn't spooked by shadows or any imagination, but rather the definitive sound of drumming coming outside somewhere in the endless void of desert dark. I will leave it off at that for mystery and suspense. But yeah, I guess I as I reflect on my own writing throughout the years, it's very much in conjunction with my transgender journey, because it's really like I'm learning how to be socialized as a man, yet I'm in my 30s, and really reflecting on that and defying that and being like, let's talk about being afraid. Let's talk about being vulnerable. Let's talk about like not knowing how to do something, and admitting to that and going with it, So I don't know. I don't know if any of that made sense, but I appreciate you, Marshall, for inviting me to this event, and congratulations on your new book. I have read through it a couple times at this point, and it's truly a gem. So thank you.
No, thank you, Jeremy. And I feel you on being in your 30s and still figuring out what this male body is all about. I mean, it's quite an experience in this society. So thank you for sharing your experience and your journeys. And please post in the chat where people can find your books. Like, congratulations on all your books. When I first met you, you were working on this this novel that you've just read from. So it's cool to see it. 3 years later, be a tangible object that people can buy and hear from. Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. Yeah, so we are getting on into the evening. I'm sorry, guys. This is quite a time journey, but I'm so happy you guys have been along this whole time. I would say we're almost into the witching hour, which is, you know, kind of exciting. You know, still no moon yet, but we got to see a little bit of it in that video earlier. Got the rain clouds storming down. Next up, we have a very special appearance and ritual scheduled for your eyes, ears, hearts, and minds. Cookie Tongue is a theatrical freak folk musical menagerie with puppetry, animation, Butoh-inspired dance, and ritual magic, featuring original songs and whimsical interludes inspired by Cookie Tongue's surreal mythology, fairy tales, childhood, ghost stories, and a sprinkle of the occult. So everyone get ready to tumble down the cookie hole in this next spectacle.
Hello? Can you all hear us? Yes, you can hear us here. We're sort of nearby, but don't know exactly where we are. I think we traveled here on some sort of vehicle that we must have abandoned inside of that. Where's that tree? I saw, yeah, that tree. I think it ate our vehicle. But we're gonna anyhow play a song that we actually wrote in Massachusetts on the trip. that brings the October winds. I'm the voice that made this all begin, and now I'll bring it to an end. That must have been a car somewhere. I think I heard it deep in the throat of that tree, I believe. Oh, where are we? Look, where? I think we have arrived to where we are actually trying to get to.
We're always in such a rush to get places.
Well, sometimes you just gotta take a tea break. Are you pouring some? Or are you brewing? Well, this song was written about the time of those fires in California. It's called Orange Sky. Thank you for this poetry, Marshall. And thank you. I just want to return to that place to make sure we stay, make sure we see other people. I think I see people there. Marshall, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, thank you for having us dial in from this. I don't know exactly, but you know, we've heard all the communications coming through with beautiful poetry and music so far, and we can't wait to hear the rest. Congratulations on the book.
Thanks for taking us out of this world into your world, down the cookie hole.
You're welcome.
That was awesome. Yeah, everyone, you can find Cookie Tongue on Instagram at Cookie Tongue Music. Is there an underscore there, one or two?
You can kind of find us here. I'll put it in the chat. We're like on a few things. There's this one on the Instagram. You can find us Cookie Tongue Music. And then on Facebook, it's just Cookie Tongue. And if you want to look us up or listen to our music on Spotify, we're on there, Bandcamp. So you can just surf the interwebs and find us wherever. We don't know where we are exactly, but hopefully you'll find us there. And we're working on a new album, which those two songs were from. And it's going to be called Soggy Miracle.
Cool.
So hopefully that'll come out by this summer if a Soggy Miracle happens and we're able to let that come out. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. That was quite the miracle of transportation into other worlds. We're gonna keep going wherever we are. I don't know even where we are anymore. It's getting out there. Fortunately, we got the guiding light to bring us back in. Our next guest is Grady Lights, 30-year resident of Upper Darby, passionate patron of artists, and an avid member of the Havertown Community Action Network, HCAN. He enjoys working with HCAN's art advocacy group, racial justice, and interfaith action groups. Grady is also a member of Emerging Art Leaders of Philadelphia, as well as the Citizen Body. Raised a fundamentalist Christian, he follows a Quaker-like spiritual practice. Last month marks his third year attending Haverford Quaker meeting. March marks his third month celebrating his 70th birthday. So happy birthday, Grady. Born December 26th. If you really wonder why, he says, Jesus is a hard act to follow. So yeah, Grady, I know you wanted to share us your poem from your 70th birthday. I'm curious if after you'd like to talk to us a little bit about your practice of using art as a form of peace, and how that's related to Travel by Haiku. Oh, it looks like you're muted, Grady. Yeah. Grady, it looks like you're still muted. If you want to just
okay. All right,
Yep.
here we go.
Cool.
It's been great being part of such an immersive experience with so many sensitive surfaces. I've not been with such music really. Poetry is music for me, but such a long journey. So I feel totally awash. I don't call myself a poet. A poem from time to time calls me. So I don't know what that makes of me and what I write afterwards. I wrote this poem on my birthday, but it was written to be read. And when I read it this afternoon, I realized that it wasn't listenable. which was an interesting experience. So I edited it. I have two birthdays, December 26 and born again moments. I was saved July 1966, redeemed by the blood of Jesus Christ. A hot summer evening at a tent revival in Savannah, GA. Gestating in my womb was a baby gay. 70 years God promises for a life. I am 70. His promise kept, yet 8 months left. Laugh out loud. 70 plus 7 and more he commands to forgive our fellow human beings. Behold, here is the tomb raised to the power of the womb. For daily the Apostle Paul says he dies in Christ to be born again. As I am crucified with him, so am I resurrected to a newness of life. Holy Communion every day when the mind of Christ Jesus has sway in me. Let this Mass of Christ be celebrated truly with joy in my life. 77 years promised for a life plus 7 for forgiving our fellow human beings. 77 times and many much more we are to forgive them. Forgiving is forgiving away that I who will not forgive, that I who swallows unforgiving's poison and expects the toxins to harm or kill his antagonist. The poison we ingest when we do not forgive spontaneously aborts that new life, gestating in the womb of willing forgivers, that new life that is delivered when we forgive our fellow humans. 77 years promise, 70 years and 7 plus and more for forgiving. How many birthdays in my life? Count the days. How many Christ masses are there? How many rebirths? That is, deaths and resurrections. The day after Christmas, December 26, so many I cannot count them. Labor's pains on Christmas Day, Mama and I faithfully, ritually remembered hers on my birthday. My mama's labor pains 2.5 decades after December 25th, 1950, spoke from the womb of her worries, quote, Grady Walker Lights, gay people have no friends, unquote, she said in 1975. I, 25, born again, baby gay, self-delivered from my own womb. Forgiving is a Garden of Gethsemane moment, like Christ who prayed there before the crucifixion, fully human despair, sweating blood, soul threadbare, a prayer to let pass the cup of suffering on the cross at Golgotha Hill. Forgiving my fellow human beings is a pregnant, crucifying ordeal with all its labor pains of a life to be reborn from the watery womb of hopes that flood my heart. Family, friend, foe, we must abide. Each in forgiving, we stem the tide. When the water is broken and birth is nigh, forgiving's 77 is prophesied. I started buying TBH about 2 years ago. I tip each purchase. I buy them in bulk. The tips are carried forward in an account that I keep with MJK, and I draw on the account to give away free poems. I buy the books in bulk and I carry them around with me when I'm out and about. I retired 5 years ago, so my days are mine. And I give them away to passing acquaintances. I give them to friends, colleagues, and so on and so forth. Poetry in particular And art in general accomplishes an amazing thing. The witness and testimony of 2.5 hours for me at least has just reconfirmed that, and especially haiku, connects with the common core of humanity. TBH has become such a tool for my art advocacy. I belong to the Havertown Community Action Network. We have an art advocacy action group, and we use art to advocate for social change and social transformation. What art does is that it proves very quickly, as again was demonstrated tonight, how quickly we can connect with each alter. I don't use the word other. That's a bad word. It's too alienating and estranging. But it just proves that you can cut through the apparent differences that separate us. What happens in our society now, and this is where TBH and other art that my organization and I advocate with, is that it proves the point that the differences that apparently separate us are not essential. And the problem is that we tend to over-identify with our commitments, beliefs, and values, so much so that a person and what they believe and commit themselves and value is one and the same thing. So if you attack them, then you're threatening homicide. They feel totally defensive and they'll kill you in order to protect that identity. So it's all important for people to have a moment where they can, however briefly, experience that common core of humanity. When I was in the line buying my first copy of TBH and getting my first poem on demand, I saw that connection happen. I saw total strangers, for the most part, I would imagine, but yet the aha, the nonverbals, it was all there. I said, I need and want this for my art advocacy because it proves my point without so many words. I gave 2 copies of TBH to a very good friend of mine. He's a professor of anthropology. He's an ethnomusicologist. He teaches at Penn State Brandywine in Delaware County. He's a member of a cover band in Delaware County called the Dead Sea Squirrels. It's a red and blue band, and he's the only blue member. And so I guess they play purple music if there is such a thing. Well, in any event, I gave him the book. He is a professor of peace studies, and a course that he's teaching this semester, he asked me to talk about my art advocacy and how I use it to advance the cause of peace. Making that common core of humanity connection, if that's not a peace builder and a peacemaker, I don't know what is. Once you feel it, and I was feeling it all night, I don't think you're ever the same. And so he told the students that they were free to ask me questions about the interview that I gave. He videotaped it, they listened to it, and 9 of the 11 students asked me questions. And I told my friend, I said, I'm gonna answer every one of them because I love the opportunity to engage with these young minds. So one of the questions was, how do you deal with a person using art advocacy for peace if that person is dead set on holding on to their mindset? So I told the student, I said, well, that's a very good question. And I can't give you a final answer to it, but I can tell you how to approach it. When you meet a person who is that set in their ways and are dead set and will even kill you to hold on to their beliefs, the best thing that you can do is to reflect and mirror for them what they think and what they feel. Don't argue, don't try to refute, just listen and receive. And by reflecting the person in that way, you're doing what poets and artists do. And that is you're reaching out and you're sending out an energy and a vibe that makes that connection with the common core of humanity that we all have. Much of it is wordless. It's a feeling, it's an encountering intensity that just happens. And I told him that because of what I feel about people identifying overly much with their beliefs, commitments, and values. So they and these, what I call BCVs, beliefs, commitments, they're one thing. When you reflect to them for just a while, they have a moment of disconnection or they're hearing themselves. So what they were once merged totally as one with, for a moment, that may stop. And in that way, I think art and reflecting the art of your connection with an alter person, I don't use other again, that is a way of bringing persons into an awareness of what we really have in common. And when you do that, then you are paving a path to peace. It's a small thing, and it's one that I do and that I'm looking forward to doing with or continuing with the new edition of TBH.
Thank you so much, Grady. I really appreciate you reflecting on that. You've been sending a lot of those talks that you've done with those students to me through email and text, and it's like been really, I don't know, it's been good to see and read these exercises and practices that we can all do in developing, you know, better cross communication with people that maybe are from different places or different understandings. And yeah, I feel like, yeah, part of the road, the travel is like really reflecting on that. I don't know, the altar in all of us, you know, the way that we are all, you know, different reflections of each other. Thank you so much for sharing that, Grady. And yeah, really appreciate you. Please feel free to post in the chat where people can look up HCAN or any of the other projects that you're working on.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I'm excited for, we're getting, I think we're almost at our destination. We have a couple more performers for you guys. Thank you everyone who's been hanging on and listening in. I feel like this has been a really beautiful, like just, I don't know, just a very beautiful, I don't know. It's been a beautiful collage of so many different incredible people. And it's been really fun to share this space with everyone and really reflect on, I don't know, what drives us. I mean, I feel like we're in a point where we're almost coming out of you know, this hibernation we've been in for the last year. So really excited being in this space with you all. Up next, we have Brittanie Sterner. Personal side note that I wanted to say is that we met at a poetry competition in honor of Walt Whitman's 200th birthday. And Brittanie was the winner for her beautiful poem in style of Whitman. And so I was the runner-up, but she was the winner. And I mean, her poem floored the whole audience. It was really cool to see all these different like Whitman scholars and Whitman aficionados and Whitman fans just be up there and doing their best to recant Whitman's style of poetry. And Brittanie just read this poem that just, I don't know, it brought life to it. I think that's like one thing with Whitman that's, you know, maybe missed in class, is that this guy ain't dead. He's the living language. So, but yeah, Brittanie has been on several of her own cross-country road trips. She is a poet and essayist who has published in various places exploring death, travel, meditation, and queerness. She's a pole dancer, yoga teacher, and currently the program director for the One Book, One Philadelphia project at the Free Library. So yeah, I'd like to welcome up our next performer, Brittanie Sterner, to the stage.
Oh, thanks, Marshall. I didn't know you were going to read that whole bio. Also, you were the winner of that competition in my mind. I think you read a poem about cows that just like was amazing.
Yeah,
I'm also just still sitting with Grady's words and energy, so much wisdom and power. Thank you so much, Grady. I hope we meet in person one day. And everybody here, this has just been so much fun and so lovely. And yeah, I'm just gonna get into it, and I'm gonna read something that's kind of a flash piece that's a little bit older, but it felt hopefully in line with the spirit of the road. It was a beautiful wedding. I dipped you backward in pails of lavender water on the dance floor and twirled you till you spit pearls. From cactus arms, our histories dropped like hair needles across the open parquet. Your polished shoes went quick, quick, slow, slower still, then quick again. The animal crowds and trees quieted when your chin came behind my ear and you whispered that none of it was real. And I reminded you it doesn't matter. We spun out days, then years. All ships left port, wine and cloud and blood in their dark wake. The music always a match, striking its book, saying close cover, strike gently. Heat in those months was a mouthful, even for those of us who'd practiced language. The light peeled into the car like an orange coming undone, our heads abuzz with juice and bells like mountains. And at every hotel, the pools were cotton candy and county fair light. I won us prizes from the ice rooms and braided coins into our hair. In the car, the AM dial came in braille and we felt our way through God and sideshows. The heat pushed on in dry monsoons and the clutch gave out, but we drove straight through every future as each sun melted into the next. The best nights were the ones we camped, when television murmur and vending machines were far away on Earth and we drank the blue dust and could not remember if we were naked. It's been a long time since heat like that, since a coin fell from my hair, since the radio told us how to get to no place in particular. Sometimes I went to work. A friend of a friend was born. She had waited a long time to see his wet eyes crest from their own snow. She draws him at every alone moment, borrowing views from fire towers and the arcs of first cities. She prismed him before he had pages. She pressed her tongue to his fur while he was still light, and when he finally arrived, every fruit fell from its tree into her fleet of palms. Now she reverses ice for him and absolves the problem of bodies. She gives him these things called love, air, milk. Your birthday came again. Instead of cells, your plasma body held stars, some with proper names. Like a herd of galaxy antelope, they time-sped as you laid in a trapezoid of daylight on the carpet. You told the succulents and ferns I planted that aging made you dizzy, but that you liked it. Soon the room swooned with the punch parfum of centuries, and over aloe cocktails you told war stories of bees, dingoes, and a fire at a municipal building, the moments that have made up your great life. You'd plucked the binoculars from the shed and were looking through them backwards. Things are looking small again, you said. I touched you lovingly, a reminder that you were still pretty young. Your candles were all the lizard nests in Southern California. That's all I got. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. And thank you to all the performers. This has just been amazing. Thank you, Marshall. Congrats on your book.
Yeah, that was amazing, Brittanie. This room just like raised to several degrees. That was like steamy and warm and cozy. Thank you so much for that late hour revelry. Please feel free to post in the chat where people can find more of your writing. And yeah, everyone check out One Book, One Philadelphia. It's a really cool thing that's going on from the Free Library that Brittanie is like in charge of. And this year they're doing Jericho Brown's book, which is I just got a copy and it's every page is I don't know, just the pages hit you. Pages of poetry hit you pretty hard.
Also, if I could just do a plug, Lindo is doing a workshop for one book on, I think it's May 7th, called Mantras. So I'll put the website in the chat.
Perfect. All right. Next we got Gladys, Harlow. We got a couple more performers. So thanks everyone for hanging out, enjoying this like smooth ride. So Gladys Harlow, met her in New Mexico. She's originally from Miami, now lives in Philadelphia. She's a sound-based performative artist, comedian, writer, and activist, experimenting with found objects, contacts, mics, textures, range, analog formats, present moments, and emotions. Through raw avant-garde performance art, she aims to break down societal barriers, abolish oppressive systems, and empower communities. 1990, born in Queens, New York, raised in Miami, Florida, with deep roots in Venezuela, currently haunting in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Gladys Harlow.
Thank you, Marshall. Peace and blessings, everyone. You've all touched me so much, and I'm just gonna go. This one's in Spanish. El Duarte. La brisa de tus palabras corren 1000 millas alrededor de mi cuerpo, nunca entrando en el cuarto de mi mente, todo cubierto en flores de ylang ylang. La brisa de tus palabras corren 1000 millas alrededor de mi cuerpo, mientras que camino al paso de una mariposa en el día de su muerte. La brisa de tus palabras se pierden en la belleza del cuerpo tierra. This is like the second time I've read something. I'm so nervous. This one's called Sog. Carried in a basket full of heavy, wet laundry, the longing to be dry and fluffed near to your body, all the lines on a wrinkled shirt, a map of every way a situation can go. Dodge. Ever-breaking sin, the shadow puppet of my mind's eye, revealing all you feel but never see. There is a great escape in the underlying of these giant roots, the curve and swerve of my eighth smoke, proof of flow, proof of the wretched pang that rules my paintbrush. This will, the vital force. Last one's called Rusty Chains. A million dazed, stuffed into hundreds of minutes to fill the morning, sweet release from anchored ambiguity, my body packed inside a box the size of a fist. You'll notice I fit anywhere because I do not exist anywhere in time. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate you all, and I hope to meet you soon too.
Yeah, I hope we get to do poetry readings at your house someday soon, like we were talking about before the pandemic. Because
La Salon.
La
Let's
Salon.
do it, y'all.
Yeah, I can't wait to get back in the live performance again. Yeah, all right. Thank you so much, Gladys. And please post in the socials or post in the chat your socials or what you would like to share for people to find more of your work. I know you have like, I have one of your zines that you like tied together with a guitar wire, which I was like, oh my God, this is so good. Like, but yeah, I'd love to have people find more of your work. All right. So this last, we have like a couple more pieces. I keep saying that, but it's like, we got some more pieces. So yeah, I guess we gotta figure out two things. Well, we got to close out with some haikus, and we got to figure out where these clowns are, because like they still aren't here yet. And then yeah, Andrew Galati, I promised you guys he would play us some music, so we'll have him up pretty soon. But first, let's start with Erin C. White and Ethan Foote. They are really amazing collaborators that I've worked with in Washington, D.C. Erin C. White is a DC-based artist and connoisseur of the eclectic and strange. She loves collaborating across genres and creates stage and screen work for alongside other multidisciplinary artists. Local stage credits for dance include the Kennedy Center, Folger Theater, American University Greenberg Theater, Atlas, Anacostia Art Center, and many more. Ethan Foote is a multi-instrumentalist, composer, arranger, working in jazz, the Western classical tradition, folk, rock, and genres in between. He writes and performs in many contexts, including theater and interdisciplinary art. Rooted in the DC music scene, he is taking the stage at many of the area's notable venues, including the Kennedy Center and the Mansion at Strathmere, or Strathmore. So yeah, we before this show, we got together and we staged some haikus, and I'm really excited for this one. Erin, she's about to take us to a deer field in these movements.
A good friend once said, "The moon speaks for the glaciers. Earth hardly listens." The ancients were here. Windows open to old worlds. Now the ancients sleep. The peaks of mountains, scales a dead giveaway, stone dragons sleeping. Totally unreal. Sometimes landscapes are like paintings. Time with calm brushstrokes. Spiraling out is the mind of a dream poet, standing in sunshine.
Yeah, that one. I feel like I want to stretch and feel the ground. All right. Well, thank you so much, Erin and Ethan and Katie, who held the camera. And yeah, we went places. We're almost at where we're going, I think. We're almost there. Let's see if these clowns are almost here. I mean, we've had a lot of clowns tonight, but the clowns, I don't know where they are. They're supposed to be here. I mean, at this point, the show should have been over already. They were supposed to be here about 3 hours ago.
Marshall, we got there and it was locked.
We couldn't get in, Marshall. It was closed.
Sorry. I can't believe it.
We just sat down in these grasses by the side of the road. We're just gonna go to sleep now.
We've been through so much. We're so tired. So tired. So tired.
What's inside of Marshall's is inside of all of us. We are heading to the great beyond. We're together, you and me. What's inside of Marshall's is inside of all of us. It's the miracle of being. It's a cosmic mystery.
Last night I dreamed of Marshall's. I walked through the doors so free. I flew on the wing of a butterfly king, and we danced in harmony. To walk through the aisles of Marshall's is to know secret revelry. Follow a golden thread to a vampire's bed. Find a unicorn horn, an Egyptian charm, an Eleusinian sanctuary. As the morning light shimmers on the horizon, I pull out my telescope.
What's inside of Marshall's is inside of you and me. It's a miracle of being. It's a cosmic mystery.
Marshall.
Hey.
We had a dream.
Oh.
Wow.
We're here.
We've been here all along, Marshall.
Oh. We love you, Marshall.
I love you guys too. You guys are great. Well, I mean, I guess since we've realized we're all one and one is a clown, the show is a success. Would you say so, Majaka? All right. Well, to close out the night, and feel free to stay on afterwards if you want to chat. I mean, I know it's like super late, but like we've gravitated to the dream world. If you want to stay on after to, I don't know, share some conversation and yeah, just like shoot some poetry, feel free. But to close us out for our performances tonight, my favorite clown, passenger to my ramblings, driver to my dreams, Andrew Galati. He's a poet, musician who resides in the humble village of West Philadelphia. He loves life and wants to celebrate with you. Take us away, Andrew.
Hey, that was awesome. I love those clowns. Cool, yeah, I guess a song and then maybe I'll play a second one or not, but we can figure that out. Yeah, I just wrote this one yesterday, so it's freshly dreamed. Sound okay? I guess it's
yeah.
fun.
Sounds great. You
Okay.
want everyone to get up out of their seat and dance around? Is it?
Whatever anyone wants to do. I was just because Zoom was asking me if I was playing music, so I don't know. I'm sending out a newsletter. I'd love to catch you up on everything. Can't believe it's so many years later. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? The epilogue is done, and sure, we had some fun. We'll see what we started when the day has begun. There ain't no use in guessing or looking behind. In the meantime, I'll be dressing to the nines. Don't need nobody's blessing to lay down the line. In the meantime, I'll be dressing to the nines. You're the greatest thing that's ever happened. The chapter that closes out history. All the while the world keeps on spinning. The only one who noticed it was me. The epilogue is done, and sure, we had some fun. I'm left feeling cold after our moment in the sun. Ain't no use in guessing or looking behind. In the meantime, I'll be dressing to the nines. Don't need nobody's blessing to set things right. In the meantime, I'll be dressing to the nines. Cool. Yeah, I guess I'll play one more quick one if that's cool with you, Marshall. Sweet. Yeah, that one was called Dressing to the Nines. Like I said, I just wrote that, so to premiere it here, this has been such a lovely, interesting evening. So many different voices and colors, and yeah, it's been great. So yeah, thank you, Marshall, and thank you everyone else for making such a magical evening. And this is a song about magical evenings. Follow the path down through the woods, no looking back, it's gonna be good. Look for the fire emblazoned in gold, and dancers in white whose ribbons unfold. Of the lotus cedars, it's the night of the lotus cedars. Odysseus lost and Hercules dead. Taste of the sap, the forgetful tree bled. Eros was sorry his lover had died. He chewed off a leaf and buried his bride. It's the night of the lotus cedars. It's the night of the lotus cedars. Look at the moon shining over the sea. Her sweet embrace knows no memory. Don't pity the fool if his foot should fall. With one simple step he lets go of it all. It's the night of the lotus cedars. It's the night of the lotus cedars. Follow the path down through the woods, no looking back. It's gonna be good, it's gonna be right. Of the lotus cedars, it's the night of the lotus cedars. It's the night, it's the night, it's the night, 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 night. It's the night, it's the night, it's the night, 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 night. It's the night, it's the night, it's the night, 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 night. It's the night, it's the night. It's the night, 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 night. It's the night of the lotus cedars. Thank you.
Yeah. Everyone, feel free to take their mics off or mutes off and give Andrew some applause. That's all we got planned for this wild ride. Thank you, everyone. I think we arrived. We arrived at the night. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, thank you, Marshall. Great.
What a journey.
Yeah, that was quite a journey. It was not a